So one of the really unique things too, I think about this whole story you're describing with pictures is that you guys never, like, you stayed true to your original vision. You never really pivoted, and it seems like there's so much pressure that if you don't get 100,000 downloads in the first month, wow, what are you doing wrong? Keep moving, keep moving. So what through that process in those early months, what was the driver for you and the team to say, hey, you know what? Yeah, our metrics are bad, but we've got a really compelling vision here. Let's stick with it.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. Like, I think that question is when do I keep going and when do I pull the plug? That's really hard. But I knew I liked using the product, and I had this small group of some friends and some family, and they liked using the product. And we also knew that the product as it existed was like a very crappy version of what we wanted to build. So we just kept trying to make it better and better. But that's a good question, and I don't have like a concrete answer to that. I think a lot of that actually has to do with the personality, your personality and the personality of your co-founders, and whether you have money and whether you're feeling pressure to like feed your kids. All those things come into play. I think there's a lot of like luck and happenstance in that whole process.
Was there ever a point where you guys got very close to just saying, hey, you talked about that earlier, where you had thought about going back to Google, but was there ever a point where you guys actually got very close to making that decision to just doing something else or giving up?
So I don't think that I got that close to it. One of the really nice things about living in Silicon Valley is that there are so many other people that are going through exactly the same thing with you, right? So I actually feel like Silicon Valley is the easiest place to be running a struggling startup. Like, you go to barbecues, everyone's congratulating you all the time. They're like, congratulations, like, you don't have a job anymore. And that's one of the reasons I moved out here, actually. I mean, that's not the case in other parts of the country. You go do something, and a few months later, like, oh, how's it going? Like, how you doing with that? Are you worried about it? But here, actually, it's really celebrated. And to me, that makes a big difference. It means a big difference, like when you get drinks with like a group of people that are going through exactly what you're going through. And I think that's why so many people end up here. It's not just that there's a lot of money and there's a lot of engineers, but there's a whole community of people that are really supportive and genuinely want to see you succeed.